The conference room aboard the Valtherian flagship was too cold for human comfort. Deho stood at attention, his military uniform crisp despite the long journey through space. Across the massive metal table sat King Vorath, a creature that looked like someone had mixed a lizard with a tank. The king's skin was covered in thick plates that shimmered purple and black under the harsh lights. His four eyes watched Deho with an expression that could have meant anything. "You understand what we are asking?" King Vorath's voice came through the translator device, making his words sound flat and mechanical. Deho nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty. You want us to train your daughter in human combat methods? My daughter is weak." The king said the words without emotion, like he was describing the weather. "She cannot fight like a proper Valtherian. She brings shame to my house. Perhaps your human ways can fix what nature made wrong." Behind the king, several Valtherian nobles shifted. Deho noticed their body language, even if he couldn't read their alien faces. Some looked angry. Others looked disgusted. One looked sad. "We will do our best," Deho said carefully. He had been a soldier for 15 years. He had trained hundreds of recruits. But training an alien princess? That was new. The door at the far end of the room opened. A small figure walked in, much smaller than the other Valtherians. Where King Vorath stood nearly 8 feet tall with muscles that bulged under his armored skin, this newcomer barely reached 6 feet. Her skin plates were thin and pale, almost translucent in places. She moved carefully like someone who expected to be hurt. "This is Hana, my youngest daughter," King Vorath said. He did not look at her. Hana stopped a few feet from the table. She kept her head down, her four eyes focused on the floor, her hands clasped together in front of her body. She wore simple gray robes that hung loose on her frame. "Greetings," she said softly. Her voice was quiet even through the translator. "Hello, Princess Hana," Deho replied. He tried to keep his voice warm. "I'm Deho. I'll be your instructor." She looked up briefly, just for a second. Deho saw fear in those alien eyes. Then she looked down again. "You will take her to Earth," King Vorath commanded. "Train her for 1 cycle of seasons. If she improves, good. If not—" He made a gesture with his clawed hand that Deho's translator didn't bother to interpret. The meaning was clear enough. The meeting ended quickly after that. Papers were signed. Official statements were made. Deho watched as Hana stood silently through it all, invisible in a room full of people. When the king left, he did not say goodbye to his daughter. None of the nobles did either. They simply walked out, talking amongst themselves about trade agreements and military alliances. Hana remained standing in the empty conference room. Deho approached her slowly. "Are you ready to go?" he asked. "Does it matter if I am ready?" She looked up at him again. This time she held his gaze longer. "I go where I am sent. I do what I am told. That is what weak things do." Deho felt something twist in his chest. He had heard that tone before, in the voices of soldiers who had given up on themselves. "You're not weak," he said. "You do not know me." "No," Deho admitted. "But I know that anyone who survives in a place where they're told they're worthless every day, that takes a different kind of strength." Hana stared at him. Then, to his surprise, she made a sound that the translator rendered as a laugh. It was bitter and short. "Human words are kind," she said. "But words do not win battles. Words do not earn respect. My people respect only power, and I have none." They took a transport ship to the human station orbiting Mars. During the trip, Hana stayed in her quarters. Deho tried talking to her a few times, but she gave only short answers. "Yes. No. I understand. Thank you." Always polite, always distant, always careful. On the 3rd day of travel, Deho's friend Jiwoo called him on the private channel. "How's the princess?" Jiwoo asked. His face on the screen looked amused. "Quiet," Deho said. "Scared. Sad. Her father seems like a real piece of work. He treats her like a broken tool, something that failed to work properly." Deho rubbed his face. "I don't know how to help her, Jiwoo. She's already decided she's going to fail. Then prove her wrong," Jiwoo said simply. "You're good at that. Remember Private Taeyang? Everyone said he'd wash out in the first week. You turned him into one of our best. Taeyang was human. I understood what he needed. So learn what she needs. You've got 4 months. Figure it out." The call ended. Deho sat alone in his small cabin, thinking. On the last night before they reached Mars, Deho found Hana in the ship's observation room. She stood at the window, looking out at the red planet growing larger in the distance. "It's beautiful," she said without turning around. "I have seen pictures of Earth and Mars in books. I studied human history, human culture, human warfare." "You studied warfare?" Taeho moved to stand beside her at the window. "In secret. My tutors were supposed to teach me poetry and art, things suitable for a weak princess. But she hesitated. "I wanted to understand how humans conquered so much of space with bodies so fragile. Valtharians are stronger, faster, harder to kill. Yet humans won territory that we could not. And what did you learn? That humans think differently. You plan, you adapt. You use tools and tactics instead of just strength. Your generals study the enemy, find weaknesses, create strategies." She turned to look at him. General Sun Tzu wrote that the greatest victory is the battle not fought. No Valtharian general would ever write such a thing. Taeho felt something shift in his understanding of the young alien beside him. She wasn't just a scared girl being sent away. She was someone who had been preparing, learning, hoping for a chance. "Why didn't you tell your father about your studies?" he asked. "Because he would have stopped me, told me I was wasting time, told me that no amount of study would make me strong." She looked back at Mars. "Perhaps he is right. Perhaps I am wasting time. But it is my time to waste. Tomorrow we start training," Taeho said. "Real training. Not whatever your people tried before. We'll find what makes you strong. And if there is nothing to find, then we'll build something new." Taeho put his hand on the window next to where her clawed hand rested. "I lost my whole squad once. Everyone I was supposed to protect died because I wasn't good enough. I could have given up. Could have told myself I was just weak, just a failure. But I didn't. I got better. I learned. I changed. So can you." Hana looked at his reflection in the glass. "You believe this?" "I do." "Then I will try to believe it too." The ship descended toward Mars the next morning. As they prepared to land, Taeho watched Hana gather her few belongings. She moved with more purpose now, less like someone going to their execution. The training facility called Olympus sprawled across the Martian surface like a small city. Red dust covered everything. The domes and buildings looked harsh and practical, built to survive in an environment that wanted everything dead. As they walked off the transport, a group of human soldiers stopped to stare. Taeho heard whispers. "The alien princess. The weak one. This should be interesting." Hana heard them too. Her shoulders tensed. She started to lower her head again, falling back into that defeated posture. "Princess Hana," Taeho said formally, loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Welcome to Olympus. Let me show you to your quarters." She looked at him, confused by his formal tone. Then she understood. He was treating her with respect in front of everyone, showing them how to treat her. She straightened her back, lifted her head, walked forward with him like she had every right to be there because she did. The first morning of training was a disaster. Taeho had set up a basic obstacle course. Nothing too hard. Things his human recruits did every day, running, climbing, jumping over barriers. Simple stuff to see what Hana could do. She made it halfway through before collapsing. "Get up," Taeho called to her. Not mean, just firm, the way he talked to all his trainees. Hana lay in the red Martian dust, breathing hard. Her thin chest heaved. Through her translucent skin plates, Taeho could see something like veins pulsing with purple blood. "I cannot," she gasped. "Yes, you can. On your feet," she tried. She really did. Her legs shook as she pushed herself up. She took 3 more steps toward the next obstacle and fell again. Watching from the side of the training ground, Sergeant Minji crossed her arms. The human woman had trained soldiers for 10 years. She had seen plenty of recruits fail, but this was something else. "She's not built for this," Minji said quietly to Taeho after they carried Hana to the medical bay. "Look at her. She's got half the muscle mass of a human her size. Her bones are lighter. She overheats in minutes." Dr. Sungmin ran his scanner over Hana's unconscious body. The medical officer frowned at his readings. "Her physiology is fascinating," he said. "She's got 3 times as many joints as a human, see here? Her spine has 40 segments instead of our 33, and her nervous system processes sensory input much faster than ours." "But can she fight?" Taeho asked. "Fight like a human? No, fight like a Valtharian warrior? Probably not." Dr. Sungmin looked up at him. "But maybe she can fight like something else entirely." When Hana woke up, she found Taeho sitting beside her bed. Evening light came through the medical bay windows, turning everything orange-red. I failed, she said, just like I always do. No, I failed. Daeho pulled his chair closer. I tried to train you like a human. That was stupid. You're not human. I am not anything useful. Stop it. His voice was sharp. Listen to me. Dr. Sung Min showed me your scans. You can bend in ways humans can't. You can fit through spaces we can't. Your reflexes are twice as fast as mine. You can see in lower light and hear frequencies I can't. We've been focusing on what you can't do instead of what you can do. My father focused on those things too. I still failed. Because your father tried to make you into your brothers. Big, strong, powerful, direct. Daeho leaned forward. But wars aren't won by just being strong. They're won by being smart. By adapting. By finding advantages where no one else is looking. Over the next week, they started over. Completely. Daeho threw out the regular training program. Instead, he watched Hana move. Really watched. He noticed how she could bend her joints backward. How she could flatten her body to slip through narrow gaps. How her four eyes gave her almost complete vision around her head. Try this, he said one day, pointing at a ventilation shaft. Get from here to the other side of the building. Hana looked at the narrow opening. Through there? Can you fit? She studied it. Then she nodded. She slipped into the shaft easily, her flexible body compressing in ways that made Daeho's bones hurt just watching. 5 minutes later, she emerged on the other side of the building. How do you feel? He asked. Fine. Easy, actually. She looked surprised. I used to hide in small spaces as a child. When my brothers would hunt me for sport. Daeho felt anger flash through him. They hunted you? It was training, they said. To make me stronger. To teach me to survive. She said it casually like it was normal. I became very good at hiding. That's not training. That's cruelty. He pushed the anger down. But you learned something from it. You learned to use your size, your flexibility, your ability to hide. That's not weakness, Hana. That's a tactical advantage. Something changed in her eyes. Just a small spark. Like maybe she was starting to believe him. Sergeant Minji joined the training sessions. At first she was skeptical, but after watching Hana squeeze through impossible spaces and move with strange, fluid grace through obstacle courses designed for her body type, Minji started to see what Daeho saw. She's like water, Minji said one day, watching Hana flow through a maze of barriers. She goes around, through, under. Never tries to go straight through. They developed new exercises. Hana practiced moving through complex environments. She learned to climb using all 4 of her hands and feet in coordination. She studied how to use her multiple joints to absorb impacts that would break human bones. Daeho taught her human tactics, how to think 3 moves ahead, how to use the environment as a weapon, how to turn disadvantages into advantages. Your brothers are bigger and stronger, he explained. So don't fight them straight on. Make them come into spaces where their size is a disadvantage. Make them fight where you're comfortable and they're not. But it wasn't all success. Hana struggled with confidence. Years of being told she was worthless had carved deep wounds in her mind. One night, 2 months into training, Daeho found her in the gym, long after hours. She was hitting a training dummy with her clawed hands. Hitting it wrong. Hitting it with anger instead of technique. What happened? He asked. She stopped. Her hands were bleeding that purple blood. Message from my brother. Crown Prince Kethris, what did he say? He asked when I would return home. Said he missed having entertainment. Said the palace has been boring without me to chase through the halls. She looked at her bleeding hands. He sent a video of himself training. Showed me how strong he has become. How many warriors he has defeated. He's trying to get in your head. He is succeeding. She sat down hard on the floor. I train every day. I improve. But I will never be as strong as him. When I return home, nothing will have changed. I will still be the weak princess. Daeho sat down beside her. Can I tell you a story? She nodded. 5 years ago, I led a squad. 12 good soldiers. We got sent to rescue hostages from a space station. I planned everything perfectly. Every detail. Every step. He paused, the memory still painful. But I didn't account for one thing. The enemy had a new weapon. Something we'd never seen before. In 5 minutes, my entire squad was dead. Only I survived. I am sorry. I blamed myself. Thought I was a failure as a leader. Thought I wasn't good enough. He looked at her. But Jiwoo, my friend, he told me something. He said the mission failed, but I didn't. Failing at something doesn't make you a failure. It makes you someone who tried. But I have tried my whole life. No, you've survived your whole life. That's different. You survived in a place that wanted you to disappear. You studied in secret. You prepared for something better. You were trying to change even when no one else believed you could. He stood up and offered her his hand. Now you're actually trying. Really trying. And you're getting better every single day. I see it, Minji sees it, Dr. Sungmin sees it. The only person who doesn't see it is you. She took his hand. He pulled her to her feet. Let's bandage those hands, he said. And tomorrow we're going to record a video for your brother. Show him what you've learned. 3 months into training, everything changed. The alarm blared through the facility at Oro 400 hours. Daeho jerked awake and checked his communicator. Emergency broadcast. A civilian mining station called Haven's Rest was under attack. Pirates. 3,000 people trapped. All military personnel were being mobilized for rescue operations. Daeho dressed quickly and headed for the briefing room. He found Hana already there, wearing the training armor they had made for her. It was light, flexible, designed for her body type. You should stay here, he said. No. Her voice was firm. You taught me to fight. Let me fight. This is real combat, Hana, not training. I know. That is why I must go. She looked at him with all 4 eyes. You said that failing at something does not make me a failure. But I will never know if I am truly improved unless I try something real. Minji entered the briefing room. She looked at Hana, then at Daeho. If she wants to go, let her go, Minji said. We could use someone who can fit through tight spaces. Mining stations are full of crawlways and ventilation systems. Daeho wanted to argue, wanted to keep her safe. But he saw the determination in Hana's posture. She wasn't asking permission anymore. She was ready. Fine, he said. But you stay with me. Follow orders exactly. Yes, instructor. The transport ship launched an hour later. Daeho sat with his squad, checking weapons and equipment. Hana sat across from him, quiet but focused. He noticed her hands weren't shaking. That was good. Young Private Tae Yang sat next to Hana. He gave her a nervous smile. First combat mission? He asked. Yes, Hana replied. Me too. I'm terrified. Me also. They both laughed quietly. Daeho felt a small bit of hope. Maybe this would work. Maybe she was ready. Then their ship got hit by enemy fire and everything went to hell. The explosion threw Daeho against the wall of the transport ship. His ears rang. Smoke filled the cabin. Red emergency lights flashed. Someone was screaming. Status report, he shouted. Hull breach in the rear section. The pilot called back. We're going down. The ship shook violently. Through the smoke, Daeho saw Private Tae Yang pinned under a collapsed support beam. The young man's leg was twisted at a bad angle. Blood pooled on the floor. Hana, Daeho called. She appeared through the smoke like a ghost. Her training armor was scorched but intact. I am here. Help me with Tae Yang. Together they lifted the beam. Tae Yang screamed as they pulled him free. His leg was definitely broken. Daeho used a medical kit to inject pain medication and stabilize the injury. We're going to crash, Sergeant Minji shouted from the front. Brace for impact. The ship hit the station's docking bay hard. Metal screamed. More explosions. Then everything stopped. Daeho's vision swam. He tasted blood in his mouth. Slowly, sounds came back. Groaning metal, alarms, distant gunfire. Everyone alive? He called out. Responses came back. 5 soldiers, including him and Minji. Hana, the pilot. Tae Yang, injured but conscious. Not everyone made it. 2 soldiers died in the crash. Daeho pushed grief aside. Grieve later. Survive now, we need to move, he said. This ship could explode. They evacuated quickly. Carried Tae Yang between them. The docking bay was a disaster. Other ships burned. Bodies lay scattered. The pirates had hit hard and fast. Where's the rest of our team? Minji asked. Different entry point, Daeho said, checking his tactical display. The screen was cracked but working. Command says there are civilians trapped in the residential section. East side. Main team is hitting the pirate stronghold from the west. We're cut off from the main force, Minji observed. Communications are spotty. Daeho made a decision. We focus on civilians. Get them to the emergency shuttles. Let the main team handle the pirates. They moved through the damaged station carefully. The mining facility was old, full of narrow corridors and maintenance tunnels. Perfect for ambushes, Hana moved ahead of the group, scouting. Her smaller size and flexibility let her check corners and spaces the others couldn't see. She signaled them forward when it was clear. They found the first group of civilians huddled in a storage room. 20 people, families, old folks, young children, all terrified. "We're here to help," Daeho told them. "Follow us. Stay quiet. Stay together." An older man stepped forward. His name badge read Young Su, Chief Engineer. "The pirates are everywhere," Young Su said. "They're rounding people up, taking hostages, demanding ransom." "How many pirates?" 50, maybe 60. "They came in fast, overwhelmed our security in minutes." Daeho studied his damaged tactical display. The safe route to the emergency shuttles was blocked. Multiple pirate patrols. They'd have to go through the maintenance levels. The tunnels and crawl spaces that maintenance workers used. "I know those tunnels," Young Su said. "I can guide you." "Good, let's move." They headed deeper into the station's guts. The maintenance tunnels were cramped and dark. The civilians struggled to move through them, especially the older ones and children. Hana helped them. She lifted children onto her back. Her flexible spine let her carry them while still crawling through tight spaces. She guided older civilians through difficult sections with patience. Daeho watched her work and felt pride. This wasn't the scared princess from 3 months ago. This was someone who knew her purpose. They were halfway to the shuttles when they heard voices ahead. Pirates, blocking their path. Daeho signaled everyone to stop and be silent. He crawled forward with Minji to assess the situation. 4 pirates stood guard at a junction where the maintenance tunnel opened into a larger corridor. They were armed with energy rifles, alert, professional. This wouldn't be easy. "We can't fight them straight on," Minji whispered, "not without putting the civilians at risk." Hana appeared beside them. She studied the junction carefully. "There," she said, pointing to a ventilation shaft above the pirates. "I can go through there. Come out behind them." "Too dangerous," Daeho said. "You taught me that danger is part of combat." She looked at him steadily. "You taught me to use my advantages." "This is my advantage." Minji glanced at Daeho. "She's right. She's the only one who can fit through there." Daeho didn't like it, but he knew they were right. "Okay, but you wait for my signal. We'll provide distraction. You take them from behind." "Quick and quiet," Hana nodded. She slipped into the ventilation shaft without a sound. Daeho counted to 60, giving her time to get into position. Then he picked up a piece of broken metal and threw it down the corridor away from the pirates. The pirates turned toward the sound, rifles raised. In that moment, Hana dropped from the vent shaft behind them. What happened next was fast and brutal. Hana moved like water, just like Minji had said. She flowed between the pirates, her flexible body bending and twisting in ways they couldn't track. Her clawed hands struck nerve clusters that Daeho had taught her to target, human anatomy. But the principles worked on most humanoid species. 2 pirates went down before the others even realized they were under attack. The third one turned, tried to aim his rifle. Hana used her multiple joints to twist under his aim and sweep his legs. He fell hard. She disabled him with a strike to the neck. The 4th pirate got his gun up and fired. The energy bolt missed Hana by inches. Before he could fire again, Daeho shot him from the tunnel entrance. "Clear," Daeho called. The civilians moved through quickly. Young Su stopped to look at the downed pirates. "The princess did that?" he asked in amazement. "She's not just a princess," Minji said with a grin. "She's a soldier." Hana looked embarrassed but pleased. They continued toward the shuttles, fought through 2 more encounters with pirates. Each time, Hana proved her worth. She used the environment, used her unique abilities, used everything Daeho had taught her. But the worst was yet to come. They reached the shuttle bay to find it occupied. A large group of pirates had fortified the position. The commander, a scarred human woman named Vex, held another group of civilians hostage. 50 people kneeling on the ground, hands behind their heads, guns pointed at them. "Put down your weapons or they die," Vex shouted when she saw Daeho's group. Daeho assessed the situation. Bad. Very bad. The pirates had good cover, good position, hostages, no way to take them without casualties. "What do you want?" Daeho called back. "Safe passage off this station. Once we're gone, you can have your civilians." "How do we know you won't kill them anyway?" "You don't, but they're definitely dead if you attack. Those are your options." Daeho's mind raced. There had to be a way. There had to be. "The ventilation system," Young Su whispered. "The entire bay has maintenance access from below. The floor panels are removable. Can you get us in there?" "Yes, but it will take time. And someone needs to keep the pirates distracted." Daeho looked at his team. 3 soldiers including himself and Minji. Taeyang was injured, couldn't fight. The civilians needed protection. I will distract them, Hana said. Absolutely not. They will not kill me. I am the Valtherian princess. I am worth more as a hostage than dead. She was right, and Daeho hated it. I can buy you time. It's too dangerous. Everything is dangerous. You taught me that. You also taught me that soldiers do what is necessary. She checked her weapons. I am a soldier now. Let me act like one. Minji put her hand on Daeho's shoulder. She can do this. Every instinct screamed at Daeho to say no, to protect her. But she wasn't wrong. They needed time, and she could buy it. Fine, but you stay in cover. Talk only. No heroics. Yes, instructor. Hana walked out into the open, hands raised. I am Princess Hana of Valtheria, she called out. I surrender myself in exchange for the hostages. The pirates reacted with surprise. Commander Vex smiled slowly. Well. A princess. That's worth a fortune. She gestured. Come here slowly. While Hana walked forward, talking, negotiating, buying time, Daeho and Minji led Youngsu through the maintenance access. They crawled under the shuttle bay floor. Through the grating, they could see boots. Count positions. Plan their attack. 15 pirates, Minji counted. We need more people. We have enough, Daeho said grimly. They positioned themselves, set up their attack, waited for the right moment. That moment came when Commander Vex reached for Hana. The pirate commander wanted to put restraints on the princess, and that meant getting close. That meant dropping her guard. Hana moved first. She grabbed Vex's wrist with one hand, twisted, used her flexible joints to bend in impossible ways. Vex shouted in pain and surprise. The other pirates turned. Daeho and his team burst through the floor panels. The firefight was chaos. Energy bolts everywhere. Civilians screaming. Daeho moved on instinct, taking down pirates with precise shots. Minji covered his left. The other soldiers took the right. Hana fought hand-to-hand with Commander Vex. The pirate was bigger, stronger. But Hana was faster, more flexible. She used every technique Daeho had taught her. Used the environment. Used her advantages. Vex got her gun up, fired at point-blank range. Hana twisted, but not fast enough. The energy bolt caught her shoulder. She went down hard. Hana! Daeho shot the pirate near him and ran toward her. Commander Vex stood over Hana, gun pointed at her head. Time to die, princess. Hana's leg lashed out. Her multiple joints let her kick at angles humans couldn't. The news spread across human and Valtherian space like wildfire. Princess Hana, the weak daughter of King Vorath, had fought pirates, saved civilians, defeated a pirate commander in single combat. The story got bigger with each telling, but the truth was impressive enough. Hana spent 2 weeks in medical recovery. Daeho visited every day. On the 3rd day she was strong enough to talk. My father sent a message, she said. She was sitting up in bed, her shoulder wrapped in bandages. He demands my return. Says it is time to come home. You're not ready to travel yet. No. But I am healed enough. She looked at her hands, turning them over slowly. I am different now, stronger, but I do not know if it is enough. Enough for what? To face them, my family. My people, she met his eyes. They will see the news and think it is a trick. Think humans made me look good somehow. They will test me to prove I am still weak, then prove them wrong. What if I cannot? Daeho pulled his chair closer to her bed. 3 months ago, you could barely finish an obstacle course. Yesterday, you fought a pirate commander and won. You saved 50 lives. You earned the respect of every soldier in my unit. Do you know what Sergeant Minji told me? She said if she had 10 soldiers like you, she could win any battle. Hana smiled slightly. Minji is kind, and Minji doesn't do kind. She does honest. He stood. You're going home. I'm going with you. And we're going to show your father and your brothers and everyone else exactly what you've become. 3 days later, they boarded a Valtherian ship bound for Valtheria Prime. Daeho traveled as an honored guest and advisor. Officially, he was there for diplomatic relations. Unofficially, King Vorath wanted to see the human who had trained his daughter. The journey took a week. During that time, Hana grew quieter, more withdrawn. Daeho recognized the signs. She was scared. Talk to me, he said one evening. They stood in the observation room watching the stars. When I was young, maybe 7 cycles old, I tried to join my brothers in their warrior training, Hana said. I thought if I trained hard enough I could become strong like them. The master trainer let me try. She paused. I lasted 5 minutes before my brother Kethris broke my arm. He said it was an accident. Said I was too weak to train with real warriors. My father agreed. That was the last time I was allowed in the training hall. Your father is wrong. Perhaps. But he is also the king. What he says becomes truth in my world. She touched her healed shoulder. I am not the same person who left. But they are the same people. The same warriors who laughed at me. The same nobles who pitied me. The same father who was ashamed of me. Then show them something new to see. What if it is not enough? It will be enough for you. That's what matters. They arrived at Valtheria Prime 5 days later. The planet was beautiful in a harsh way. Tall crystalline cities rose from rocky ground. Everything looked sharp and dangerous. Even the plants had thorns. The royal palace dominated the capital city. It was a massive structure of black crystal that reflected light in purple and blue patterns. Guards stood everywhere. Huge Valtherian warriors in armor that looked like weapons themselves. King Vorath met them in the throne room. He sat on a seat made of what looked like bones arranged in artistic patterns. Crown Prince Kethris stood beside him, even bigger than his father. Other nobles and warriors filled the hall. Daughter, King Vorath said. His voice was neutral. You have returned. Hana walked forward. Deho noticed she stood differently now. Straighter, more confident, but her hand still trembled slightly. Yes, father. I have returned. We have heard stories. Tales of you fighting pirates. Saving civilians. Some say you defeated a warrior in combat. The king leaned forward. Are these stories true? They are. Interesting. King Vorath looked at Deho. Human, you trained my daughter? I did, your majesty. And you believe she is strong now? I know she is, Kethris laughed. It was a harsh, mocking sound. Father, surely you do not believe this. Humans are good at making propaganda. They probably staged everything. Weak little Hana could never truly fight. Brother, Hana said quietly, I am not the same person you remember. Of course you are. You are weak. You always have been. You always will be. Kethris stepped down from the throne platform. He towered over Hana by 2 feet. Father, let me test her. Let me show you that nothing has changed. King Vorath considered this. Very well. Tomorrow we will have a demonstration. Hana will face 3 warriors in the training hall. If she succeeds, she will be acknowledged as having improved. If she fails... He didn't finish the sentence. That night, Hana couldn't sleep. Deho found her in the palace gardens practicing movements in the dark. You should rest, he said. I cannot. Tomorrow I must fight 3 warriors. 3 real Valtherian warriors. She stopped moving. What if I am not good enough? You beat a pirate commander. 1 enemy. Not 3 trained warriors. She sat down on a crystal bench. My brother is right. I am still weak. Stop it. Deho sat beside her. You know what your real weakness is? Not your body. Not your strength. It's that you still believe their lies. You still let their words control you. Because they are my family. Family doesn't tear you down. Family doesn't mock you. Family doesn't break your arm and call it training. He turned to face her fully. You want to know what real strength is? Real strength is surviving in a place that wants you broken. Real strength is getting up every single time they knock you down. Real strength is training in secret for years because you refuse to give up on yourself. Tears ran down Hana's face. That purple blood that Valtherans cried, I am afraid, she whispered. Good. Fear means you understand the stakes. Fear makes you careful. He put his hand on her shoulder. The good one. But don't let fear make you forget what you've become. You're not that scared child anymore. You're a warrior. Act like it. The next morning, the entire royal court gathered in the training hall. It was a huge circular arena with a floor made of some material that looked like black glass. Seating rose up on all sides. Hundreds of Valtherian nobles and warriors came to watch. Hana stood in the center of the arena. She wore simple training armor. Across from her stood 3 Valtherian warriors. Each was twice her size. Each had been training their whole lives for combat. King Vorath raised his hand. This is a test of skill. Fight until one side surrenders or cannot continue. Begin. The 3 warriors charged. Hana didn't meet their charge. She moved sideways fast, used her flexibility to bend under the first warrior's swing. She struck nerve clusters in his leg as she passed. The warrior stumbled but didn't fall. The second warrior came at her from the side. Hana dropped to the ground, flattened her body impossibly low. The warrior's kick passed over her. She swept his legs, but he was too heavy to fall. The third warrior grabbed her from behind, lifted her off the ground. She twisted her spine in ways no human could, slipped through his grip like water, landed on her feet and struck his throat. Not enough to seriously hurt, but enough to make him cough and back away. The fight continued for 10 minutes. Hana used every advantage she had. Speed, flexibility, tactics, environment. She led the warriors into each other, made them trip over obstacles, tired them out while conserving her own energy. But she was taking hits too. These were real warriors, trained, skilled, strong. A punch caught her ribs. A kick hit her leg. An elbow struck her back. She hurt. Badly. Give up, little sister. Kethris shouted from the audience. Stop embarrassing yourself. Something changed in Hana's eyes. Daeho saw it from his seat. The fear left. The doubt left. What remained was determination and anger. She stopped fighting defensively. Hana went on the attack. She targeted joints, nerve clusters, weak points that human anatomy studies had taught her. She used her multiple joints to strike from angles her opponents couldn't predict. She was faster, smarter, more adaptable. One warrior went down, nerve strike to the neck. He'd be fine later, but he couldn't continue now. 2 left. Hana used her environment, led them near a wall, then used the wall to change direction impossibly fast. Got behind them, struck the back of their knees, their spine junctions, their sensory organs. Second warrior down. 1 left. The final warrior was the biggest, strongest. He came at her with everything he had. Hana didn't run, didn't dodge. She waited until the last moment, then used his momentum against him, grabbed his arm, twisted her flexible body around it, used pressure points and leverage to throw him to the ground. Impossible throw. No way someone her size should be able to do it. But she did. The warrior tapped the ground. Surrender. The fight was over. Hana stood in the center of the arena, breathing hard, bleeding from several cuts. She looked up at her father. Is that enough? She asked. The throne room was silent. Then slowly one Valtherian started clapping. Then another, then more. The sound grew until the entire hall echoed with it. King Vorath stood. My daughter has proven herself. She is weak no longer, but that night everything went wrong. Daeho woke to alarms blaring. He grabbed his weapon and ran into the hallway. Valtherian guards rushed past him. What's happening? He asked one. Ku, General Rax has taken the king hostage. Says the royal family has grown weak. Says humans are corrupting our ways. Daeho's blood went cold. Where's Princess Hana? Don't know. Rax's forces are searching for her. Daeho ran. He knew where she'd be. The gardens? The place she went when she needed to think. General Rax controlled the throne room and most of the palace. He had 200 loyal soldiers. Against him stood Hana, Daeho, and maybe 30 warriors who answered her call. The math wasn't good. They gathered in an old armory deep in the palace. Warriors who had been impressed by Hana's victory. Guards loyal to Queen Sereth, Hana's mother. Young soldiers tired of the old ways. It wasn't an army. It was barely a fighting force. This is suicide, said Captain Theron, a scarred warrior who had served the royal family for 30 years. Rax has the throne room fortified. Superior numbers. Better position. He also has my father hostage, Hana said quietly, and my mother, and anyone else who opposed him. We do nothing. They die. The human fleet could help, suggested Daeho. He had sent a message to Commander Subin, the human military leader stationed on Valtheria Prime. They could pressure Rax to negotiate. No human can enter this fight, Captain Theron said firmly. It would cause a war. This must be solved by Valtherans. Actually, Hana said slowly, there is one solution. An old law. A very old law. Everyone looked at her. The right of challenge. Any member of the royal family can challenge a general who acts against the throne. Single combat. Winner leads the forces. That law hasn't been used in 200 cycles, Theron said, and you would have to face Rax directly. He is one of our greatest warriors. Trained for 50 years. No offense, Princess, but you trained for a few months. True. But the law says he must accept the challenge. His entire argument is that the royal family is weak. If he refuses to fight me, he proves himself a coward. His own soldiers will lose respect for him. Daeho stepped forward. This is a bad idea. You're still hurt from today's fight. You need rest. We do not have time for rest. Hana looked at each person gathered. I know this is dangerous. I know I might lose. But I learned something from my human instructor. Sometimes you must try impossible things, because the alternative is giving up, and I am done giving up. One by one, the warriors nodded. They would follow her plan. Getting a message to Rax was easy. The general was broadcasting from the throne room, making grand speeches about restoring Valtherian pride. Hana simply walked to the nearest communication terminal and sent a public challenge, one that everyone on the planet could hear. General Rax, I am Princess Hana, daughter of King Vorath. You say the royal family is weak. Prove it, fight me. Single combat. Ancient law. If you win, you lead. If I win, you release the hostages and surrender, unless you are afraid to face a weak princess. The response came quickly. Rax's face appeared on every screen in the palace. I accept, little princess. We fight in 1 hour, in the crystal court where all can witness, and when I defeat you, everyone will see that the old ways are dead. The crystal court was an open courtyard in the center of the palace, surrounded by tall walls with viewing platforms, traditionally used for important ceremonies and rarely duels. Within 30 minutes it filled with people. Rax's soldiers, Hana's supporters, neutral parties curious to see what would happen, news drones broadcasting to the entire planet. Deho helped Hana prepare in a small room near the court. Your ribs are bruised, he said, wrapping them tight. Your leg is swollen. Your shoulder wound reopened slightly. You shouldn't be fighting, I know. Rax is 3 times your size. 50 years of training. He won't hold back like the warriors in the demonstration did. I know. You could die. I know. She looked at him. But if I do not try, my parents die. Innocent people die, and nothing changes. I would rather die trying to change things than live knowing I was too afraid to try. Deho wanted to argue more, wanted to forbid this, but he had no authority here. And more importantly, she was right. Sometimes you had to try impossible things. Then we make this fight on your terms, not his, he said. Rax expects you to fight like a Valtherian. All offense, all aggression, trying to prove strength. Don't fight like yourself. Fight smart. What if smart is not enough? It will be. He placed his hands on her shoulders, looked into all 4 of her eyes. You are the most impressive warrior I have ever trained. Not because you are the strongest. Because you never quit. You take every hit and keep coming. That is real strength. That is what wins battles. Hana embraced him quickly, then pulled away and walked toward the crystal court. The courtyard was silent as she entered. All eyes on her. Small, thin, injured. Across from her stood General Rax, massive, armored, fresh. He looked like a mountain compared to her. King Vorath was held near the throne, guarded by Rax's soldiers. He looked at his daughter with an expression Deho couldn't read. Pride, concern, regret. Queen Sareth stood nearby. She mouthed words Deho's translator caught. I believe in you. An elder warrior stepped forward to officiate. This is a legal challenge under ancient law. Single combat. No weapons. Fight until surrender or incapacitation. Begin. Rax charged immediately. No testing. No strategy. Just overwhelming force and speed. Hana didn't try to block or counter the charge. She dodged. Used her small size to slip aside at the last moment. Rax crashed into the wall behind where she had been standing. The crowd murmured. That dodge shouldn't have been possible. Rax was too fast, but Hana was faster. Rax turned and attacked again. A series of powerful strikes that would have shattered bones. Hana bent and twisted, her flexible spine letting her avoid hits that should have landed. She struck back at nerve clusters, but Rax's thick armor-like skin protected him. Her hits barely registered. Stand still and fight, coward. Rax roared. Hana didn't respond. She kept moving, kept dodging, making him chase her around the court, using the environment, leading him near walls, near obstacles, anywhere she could find advantage. Deho watched from the crowd. He recognized her strategy. She was tiring Rax out, making him use energy while conserving her own. Smart, but it wouldn't be enough. Rax was too experienced. He would figure it out soon, and he did. Rax stopped chasing, stood in the center of the court and waited. If Hana wouldn't fight directly, he would make her come to him. Hiding is not fighting, princess. Your father watches. Show him what you learned from your human pet. Show him the weakness he paid for. The words were meant to anger her, to make her attack recklessly. But Hana remained calm. "You are right," she said. "I learned from a human. I learned that true strength is not measured by size, not by power. True strength is adaptation, is using every advantage you have, is being smart enough to win without needing to be the strongest. Philosophy will not save you, no. But this will." Hana attacked, but not directly. She grabbed dust from the ground and threw it at Rax's sensory organs. Temporary distraction. While he was blinded, she went low, swept his legs, but he was too heavy to fall. She expected that. Used his stability against him. Climbed up his body using his own armor plates as handholds. Got behind him. Struck at the base of his skull where the armor was thinnest. Rax stumbled. First real hit that hurt him. He reached back to grab her, but she was already gone. Dropped and rolled away. The crowd was roaring now, chanting, arguing, half supporting Hana, half calling her tactics dishonorable. The fight continued. 10 minutes, 20, 30. Hana kept landing small hits. Nerve strikes, joint attacks, nothing decisive but cumulative damage. Meanwhile, Rax landed 2 solid hits that sent her flying. She got up both times, but slower each time. Daeho could see she was fading. Pain, exhaustion, injuries. She couldn't keep this up much longer. Rax saw it too. He smiled. "You fight well for a weak thing. But you are still weak. Time to end this." He charged one final time. All his strength. All his speed. Committed fully to the attack, Hana didn't dodge. She waited. Counted seconds in her head the way Daeho taught her. Waited until the absolute last moment. Then she dropped flat to the ground and rolled forward under his charge. Rax's momentum carried him past her. He tried to stop, but physics don't care about strength. He crashed into the crystal wall hard. Stunned. Hana rose behind him. She climbed his back again, faster this time. Got her arms around his neck. Found the nerve cluster that Daeho had shown her in anatomy studies. The one that worked on most humanoid species. Pressed hard with all her remaining strength. Rax struggled, tried to throw her off. But she held on. Used her flexible limbs to lock herself in place. Kept pressure on the nerve cluster. Slowly, Rax's movements weakened. His breathing became labored. His legs wobbled. "Yield," Hana said quietly. "I do not want to kill you. But I will if I must. Yield." Rax raised one hand. The traditional sign of surrender. Hana released him and dropped to the ground. Rax collapsed a moment later, unconscious but alive. Silence filled the crystal court. Then Queen Sareth started clapping. Captain Theron joined her, then more. Then everyone except Rax's most loyal soldiers. The elder warrior stepped forward. "Victory to Princess Hana. By ancient law, she has proven her strength. General Rax and his followers must surrender." Most of Rax's soldiers did. Some tried to fight and were quickly overwhelmed by the crowd. The hostages were freed. King Voreth stood on the throne platform looking down at his daughter. "Hana," he said. His voice was different, softer. "Come here." She climbed the stairs slowly. Her body screamed with pain. She knelt before the throne in the traditional position of respect. King Voreth descended from the throne. He placed his clawed hands on her shoulders.